This is the Competitor Talk with host Kyle Dangler, presented by Loud Creative Works. Today we're going to be talking to Kenny Rosenberg. He's affiliated with the Tampa Bay Rays organization, currently pitching for the AA Montgomery Biscuits. He was just voted to the AA AllStar Game last week, so we're going to give him a call right now. Hello? Hey, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. So right now we're on the podcast. I just mentioned your name, a little bit about you, so we're just going to jump right into it.
Sounds good.
All right, so you were just voted to the AllStar Game. It took place on the 18th. So how was that? Just tell us a little bit about that.
It was a blast, man. It's my first pro AllStar Game. First one since Little League, probably. We didn't do anything like that in high school or college, so it was a really good time. A lot of good guys that I wouldn't have gotten to know otherwise from different organizations. And it's just really fun atmosphere. We play a lot of games throughout the year, and most of them, if not all of them, obviously you play to win the game, and it's very can be high stress at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially if you're on a losing team and you feel pressure to win. And so that was the first game I played in a long time where nobody really cared. I mean, we still wanted to win. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just very laid back. So it was a really, really cool experience.
Now, you were also joined by, I believe, 6 other players on your team. So that had to be pretty cool. You guys all went.
Yeah, we had a good group. Obviously, I've been in the same organization this is my 3rd full season. Gotten to know some of these guys really well. So some of the guys I went with, I've been playing with for a long time, so they've become good friends. And it was we had a good group. I think we had the most All-Stars out of all the teams. So.
Awesome. So you were first half North Division champ. So tell us, so does that mean the season is halfway over, or what's going on there? Because it says first half. I was just wondering.
So the way they divide up in most of the minor league full season leagues is they do a first half champs and second half champs. When I was in the Midwest League, there were 2 teams from the first half and 2 teams from the second half because there were so many teams in our division.
All right.
But in our league, there's only 10 teams, so you take 1 from the first half from each division and 1 from the second half in each division. So we won the first half. So we're the All-Star break is the halfway point in the season. So when we hit that, the end of that first half, it basically starts a whole new season, and which is kind of weird. I've never won the first half, so the only times I've made the playoffs, we won the second half. So it's definitely going to be interesting playing in the second half of the season because we already know we're in the playoffs no matter what. We can lose every single game.
Yeah, do you think your mindset's going to be a little more laid back, or you're like the rest of the team, or how do you think things are going to go?
I mean, I think we'll still win a lot of games. Don't get me wrong, we got a really good team. Obviously, everyone still plays to win. But I definitely think we're going to play a little looser. There's no pressure. Other than individual performance,
Yeah.
So I think guys will. We have a good group, like I said. So it's not like guys are going to start playing for stats. They're not going to start playing selfish. They're still going to play the game the way we've been playing it. We're just going to be a little bit looser, I think.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of stats, this year you're 6-1 with a 2.39 ERA. Probably so far your best season. Have you been doing anything differently, or you just been getting more used to it, or what's going on there?
It's a learning experience each step of the way. And I put in a really, really good off season of work. I was doing training with Cressy Sports Performance. Best in the business. And so I flew out to Florida this off season for about a week and trained there. Got familiar with some of the terminology in our strength training programming and stuff, and took it back home with me to California and followed it to a T through the off season, and came back into spring training feeling as strong as I've ever been. I got to give a lot of credit to myself for staying with it and putting in a good off season. But also pitching coaches each step of the way, strength coaches, trainers, everyone who's contributed. Just kind of snowballs. You get a good team around you, and you develop a good routine, and you figure out what works, and you just stay with it. And you just
do you have a set routine then? Like same workouts like every day, every week, or like?
Yeah, the workouts will vary a little bit because if you do the same workout over and over again, your body will get used to it. You'll stop seeing the benefits from it. So my workouts will vary, but the schedule remains the same. I'll go day I pitch. I'll go recovery after I pitch, either Mark Pro, Normatec, Contrast, something like that. And then the next day in the morning or midday, I'll go get a lift in. Ideally, sometimes when we're on the road, I have to lift the second day, but I'll go get that lift in, do my conditioning. I don't throw the day after I pitch. And then day 2, I'll just play catch and do some sprints and, roll out and just get my soft tissue going. And then day 3 is my bullpen day. I'll stretch out my throwing a little bit more. Depending on my lifting schedule, I might mix in a lift after my bullpen. And then, day 4 is just play catch, feel good. So I'm ready for day 5.
Yeah. So you don't lift on pitching days, right? Kind of just take it easy that day before the start?
I mean, sometimes I lift immediately after my start. I've had a couple times where I've liked doing that, where you just get all of your heavy work in one day. You pitch, you come out, you go straight to the gym. We have a little mini gym in our home park, so if I can make that work, sometimes I do that. But sometimes I'm also really tired if I throw like 7-8 innings. So it depends.
Yeah. So right now you're at 7.2 innings pitched. You're on pace to almost probably break your innings limit by 40, 50 innings. Are you on an innings limit, or what's going on there? Are they trying to stretch you out this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. They don't really communicate directly whether you have a
with
hard
the players
or not. Yeah, I don't think they really would want us to know that. They don't want you to be thinking it, seeing a finish line or anything like that. So, but for me as a starting pitcher, I don't think I'm on an innings limit. I think, I've had a pretty decent workload, my college and draft year and then the last 2 full seasons. So I don't think it's a hard innings limit. I think I'll probably, I'm on pace for whatever it is, 140. I think they'll let me throw that.
All right. So speaking of college, went to Cal State Northridge. Is that near your hometown, or did you stay close? Or I know it's in the same state, but
yeah, sort of. So I'm from like the San Francisco Bay Area, small town called Mill Valley, California, and there's a pitching coach named Greg Moore. He was at the University of San Francisco, and he had a lot of success with developing pitchers. And I went to a camp. I wasn't very good in high school. I went to a camp, and we hit it off. And he wanted me to come there, but it's a private school, and they didn't have any scholarship money, partially because I wasn't very good. And so we were just in touch, and then he ended up getting the head coaching job in Northridge the summer after I graduated. And it was kind of just like, hey, you wanna come try and walk on? And I was like, you bet. And so that's what I did.
Now, were you planning on playing baseball before he reached out to you in the college, or was it kind of?
Yeah, I mean, that was always a no doubt for me. I would have ended up consider going to University of Puget Sound, Division III, up in Tacoma, Washington. And I was probably going to play soccer there too. I was a soccer goalie in high school.
Nice.
But I would definitely, baseball was always the focus. Wherever I was going to go to school, I probably would have ended up being at JUCO, but it was all about baseball. Yeah. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. So how was the walk-on process, actually? Did you play in like the fall and then it transitioned into you getting a spot for the spring, or?
Yeah, walk-ons have this kind of weird, this weird image of, you're not like part of the team, and, it's really hard to get on. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you perform and you pitch well, and you work hard and you make sure, you're the first one at the park and the last one to leave kind of thing. I know it's a cliche, but I mean, when you're putting in good hours, and it's not even really about it's not about showing the coaches anything. You know, a lot of people just want to show the coaches that they're working hard, but actually putting in that work
for yourself, probably.
It makes you better. It made me better, and just hours upon hours. You know, in that fall, and I got better, and
Definitely.
I just never really thought about, like, I didn't really. I was pretty naive. I didn't really understand the premise of a walk-on. I didn't realize that not a lot of walk-ons made the travel roster.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the scholarships and everything like that, so I just never really thought.
So your focus was probably more on that you were going to make the team rather than having a positive, negative mindset.
I'm telling you, dude. I didn't even realize that not making the team was.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I didn't even realize until like the next year when there was another wave of walk-ons, and they're all like, "Man, like, how'd you make the team last year?" I was just like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Dude, like, not all walk-ons make the team." I was like, "Damn, like, I don't know. I thought I was on the team."
Yeah, definitely.
So glad it worked out.
Did you get the pitch a lot your freshman year? I know since you walked on, or was it more as you got to like? Did you finish out your senior year, or when you get drafted?
So, just to give you the quick rundown of my college career, I pitched 11 innings as a freshman. It could have been more. I got, a decent amount of opportunities. I just stunk it up. I pitched 11 innings out of the bullpen as like a left-handed specialist, basically. And I, to this day, would rather face a righty, so it wasn't a very good role for me. But, yeah, so I didn't do very well. Went out that summer, played in the West Coast League, Yakima, Washington, and pitched fantastic out of the bullpen, and came into my sophomore year with a good shot at getting like a Sunday start gig,
yeah,
and had a lower back injury, unfortunately, which kind of put me out for that season. Didn't pitch at all. Took a medical red shirt, and then for my junior year, came back. Made sure I was supposed to play in the Cape that sophomore summer.
Yeah, I heard it's awesome.
Yeah, I chose not to, which was definitely a hard decision. I chose not to because I didn't want to go there if I wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
So I took that time to just, get stronger, make sure I was healthy, make sure my throwing program was all straightened out, and then came back in that fall for my redshirt sophomore year, and I just rolled out. That's it, man.
That's awesome.
Great all fall. Got some attention from some scouts in the fall, and stayed in touch through the spring, and just kept pitching well, and then I had a hip injury that started limiting me towards the end of the year, so I think my draft stock suffered a little bit. Started wavering at the end, but I had still put myself in a good enough situation. I had showed enough guys that they were willing to take a chance on me, and here I am.
Yeah, that's awesome. Real quick, I know you got a game tonight. Just wanted to get your input. Last night, believe it was last night, the Tampa Bay Rays are thinking of experimenting with a two-team city. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think for them at this point, from what I understand from the people I've talked to, and just from articles I've read about just where they're at in general in terms of the organization, I think it's more of a step in a process of them getting out of Tampa. Because I know they have a lease agreement with the city of St. Petersburg that runs through like 27. And
wow, really?
Yeah, and it seems like the mayor or whoever it is that is in charge of
wants them to stay, or
they really want them to stay. And
so 2027 they have to stay till.
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
And so I think the Rays are kind of exploring options that could give them a chance to get out of that, and I think that's one of them.
Because they've been looking for a few years now.
Yeah, so I think they're really just trying to put the pressure on them and say, hey, we're not afraid to explore other areas, including Montreal, clearly. So I personally don't think it's going to happen. It would be a nightmare for ball players and their families because
they're going to be going back and forth.
You already need to have two houses, one for in-season, one for off-season. To add a third would just be a nightmare. I mean, obviously, it's not like I'm buying 3 houses. I don't have the budget for that. But I'm just saying the guys at the top, the big league guys, especially guys who are – I mean, people don't realize that Major League Baseball players, there's only – a percentage that are
making a lot,
and that can make that work, and buy a house in Tampa, and I mean a rental property in Montreal or whatever it would be. But not most, but a good percentage of
can't afford doing that.
Players, not only can they not afford it, but they're not going to be in the major leagues 100% of the season. They might
go back and forth.
Be up for 2 months, down back to Durham for a month. Back up for a month, back up for a week, even. I mean, it's especially with the Rays and the way
it's
that
too
we
hectic.
Operate, it would be a nightmare for sure. Yeah. But that said, it is a very cool idea.
Yeah,
and I definitely think that it's just part of a bigger process of them getting out of the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, we'll let you go. Good luck this year, and I hope to stay in touch.
Much appreciated. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right, you have it there. Kenny Rosenberg, Tampa Bay Ray, AA prospect. Thanks for having him on. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.